On today's show, come on, Hardy, let's go party. Come on, Hardy, let's go party. Jaden Hardy goes off in his first Summer League game. We'll talk about that. What should we take away from Summer League so far? And Dinwiddie and JaVale McGee both starting? Question mark? Talk about all that and more. Today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Let it ride? No, they didn't win. And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. But the best way you can help us grow the show is to comment anything below. Let us know. What did you think about Jaden Hardy in his first Summer League game? I had fun. Isaac, did you have fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
Joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor, writer at Mavs.com, the Hardy Party Favardi, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
That's about as much fun you can have with a Summer League game, I think. The first few minutes, kind of tough. It was like, all right, Friday afternoon.
Got to ease into it.
But no, everything for Mavs fans going and watching this game is all about Jaden Hardy. And for a debut, I was really, really impressed and honestly kind of surprised by how a little bit of the turnout for him.
Jaden Hardy finished 28 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Should have had like 8 assists. He was 9 of 19 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, 8 of his 11 free throws. Isaac is just downing applesauce, like just straight applesauce. Like I was over here thinking, oh man, should I drink my Juice Land smoothie? And you're like, no, I'm going straight applesauce.
I'm listening to you read off the box score. It's a weekend pod. Get off.
Great stat line from Hardy. And it's a couple things that we wanted to see from him, right? I did the episode yesterday. I walked through some expectations for him. And
shout out for doing that episode yesterday.
I talked about the whole I talked about the whole roster and just gave like a little overview about each player. And with Hardy, it was, okay, things that I want to see from him. Can he finish at the rim? What's his defense looking like? And then, what kind of playmaker can he be? Because maybe he's going to be asked to do a little playmaking off the dribble. And I think we saw all those things, at least to a degree in this game.
He is such an offensive, like his offensive game is so wide in the sense of he can score at all 3 levels. And he's so skilled. We've went over 1 million times. Number 2 prospect. He scored over 30 points a game in high school. The dude can get buckets. All right. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, he was going to come into Summer League. The reason why I was saying, or why, for me, I was saying, dude, this dude is made for Summer League. I'm picturing Tim Hardaway, Dion Waiters, just going to come in and chuck it and score some points. But it's going to be like step backs. It's going to be the pull up threes. It's going to be ISO it out 1 foot. And he played so disciplined that I was like, okay, I'm really impressed now, because it was like, I want to say almost halftime. And out of all the shots that he had taken, he had only taken like 1 or 2 that was outside the paint. The dude started off the whole game. And now you can credit this with him, but also coaching too, of saying, get to the rim. Like that will open up the rest of your game. And he kept driving and driving and driving. And I was like, man, I love this from you. I love your decision-making from this.
I thought that was 100% coaching. I thought for sure that Greg St. Jean or Dudley or even kid from above, like whoever, was telling Jaden Hardy, okay, we want you to work on these things, getting to the rim, playing defense, playmaking a little bit, and we'll let you cook for like a quarter or something, right? Like this third quarter, they were like, all right, just go ahead, go cook, like hit your mid-range, like hit those shots, get a couple threes up, like you can cook that quarter. But for the first half, let's focus on this, right? And like you said, it opened up the rest of his game. So we saw him finish to the right, we saw him finish to the left, we saw him finish through contact, we saw him not finish at times, but get to the free throw line in a couple drives. He was doing it all out there and looked like the best player on the floor until Saminovic was like a foot from the basket, right? When he's a foot from the basket and there's nobody on the Mavs team that was over 6'9", like it was a problem.
The Summer League and big men are killing the Mavs still. No, so for Hardy, I kind of alluded to this a while back after we drafted him, that I went back, I saw the numbers everybody else is seeing about his shots around the basket. And it's like, and that became like a small mini narrative around him. It's like, oh, he struggles shooting around the basket. So I'm like, all right, let me go check this out. Like, why is this number so low? Why is this points per possession so low around the basket? And I talked about this on this pod multiple times, that I watched all the possessions of him finishing around the basket, and I didn't walk away worried. And that's the thing where I think it's kind of like swung too far of like, oh man, he really struggled finishing around the basket. It's like, my whole thing about that, watching him in the G League, was he can finish. It's not that he doesn't have the touch around the basket, or he's too small. He's getting blocked every single time he drives to the lane. It was some of his decision making, and that's where if he tightens that up, the decision making of like when to exactly challenge, or try not to do too much when you're going against some of these 7-footers and trying to do the 360s or one-handed wrap around and all of that. When he tightens that up, then he'll be just fine. I'm not worried one bit about him finishing around the basket. And I felt confident in that, today, watching him finish around the basket and do just fine. As far as scoring, I think he's going to be perfectly fine. That's why I keep on landing, and I was watching him today, and I keep on landing I was like, dude, you like the floor for him, I feel like is Jordan Poole in the NBA.
Yeah, he could definitely be that type of player. It seems like his bag where he is right now, it's like, I feel like it's Jalen Brunson a couple years in, right? We waited for Jalen Brunson to get to a point where he had the couple of mid-range buckets that he hit in the fourth quarter, like late third and fourth quarter, where he's behind the back, like step back, like jumper, like that stuff. Yeah. Jalen Brunson didn't really get down until like year 3 or like late year 2. And
I do want to be cautious about throwing out Brunson's name, because I've joked with you. I was like, I can't get here with Mavs fans.
That's why they let Jalen Brunson leave.
I can't get there to the 3 games in the summer league, and it's like, who needed Jalen? We have Jaden. I'm like, no.
No, I'm not saying that either. But what he has in his bag is already at that point where Jalen Brunson is. Now he has some other points of his game. The maturity of Jalen Brunson's game was like leaps and bounds ahead, and that's the difference.
Footwork, yeah.
That's the difference between, and just decision making. Like that's the difference between where Brunson was and where Jaden Hardy is right now. And so that's what he's gonna have to make up. It's the decision making, the footwork type stuff. It's the where to be and when and stuff like that. When to take over, when to kick out, when to pass, and when to throw a good pass at times for him. Like those are the things he's gonna have to work on and get better at. But his bag is already there, right? And we've known that. That's why he was the number 2 prospect at a certain point coming out of high school.
And I like him playing off the ball more than I think I do like him on the ball. I mean, this is one game, so we can't come away with all these, opinions about it. But I think there is a reason why now correct me if I butcher this name, Bahalo, the Italian.
Paolo.
Paolo. I thought he played a great game, but it also showed the importance of, and this is Summer League as a whole. If you're running a Summer League team, I think one of the most important things you got to do is just go out and find a point guard who can run the offense.
Yeah,
because it helps your bigs. Whether you have the 3rd overall pick and you need somebody to get him the basketball. But I thought that's why he played so much. I was looking at a box score because I felt like he played a ton. He played 28 minutes tonight.
Yeah,
so. There's a benefit of having somebody like that can control the game, set up the offense. And I liked when they were getting Hardy off the ball compared to, I thought Hardy struggled a little bit there at the end of the game and even in overtime, to where it was like, hey, here you go. The confidence in having like, hey, ISO it out. But I thought he struggled a little bit when it was like, Hardy, you got the ball, ISO it out, just do your thing. And he turned it over a few times, but I like him off the ball.
Oh yeah, the struggles early in the game and the struggles late in the game when the defense was really on him, when they were like, anytime he had the ball, it was like, okay, both defenders are collapsing on him, 3 defenders are coming up to defend him. Like there's some struggles there for sure. This wasn't a perfect game, start to finish, from Jaden Hardy. There's definitely room for improvement in different areas. His handle is still kind of loose. Like there's just some things to work on in that sense.
But a lot of excitement though.
Tons.
I mean, for Mavs fans, I think there is so much to be excited about watching him that you can't help to fall into the, like this guy went in the 2nd round. Like this dude is a 37th overall pick. Already seen a few Kings accounts like quote tweeting a little bit and it's like, hey, so we took 2 seconds for this guy, and he put up 28 in his first game. A lot to be encouraged by for Mavs fans.
Oh, absolutely. It was funny, the ones where it's like Jabari Smith Jr., 10 points in his debut. Jaden Hardy, 28 points in his debut.
Although Paolo looked nice.
All those. All right, coming up, let's talk about who else stood out in Summer League. And then I also want to touch base on this before Monday's pod about Jason Kidd's comment about Dinwiddie and JaVale McGee starting for the actual Mavericks later we got
to talk about all the interviews. It's Kidd, Nico, and Christian Wood.
It was a great like stream of content from ESPN Maverick stuff. Like there was no Bulls stuff. If you're a Bulls fan, you're like, why am I like
DeRozan?
I guess you just had DeRozan. But all right, we'll talk about that coming up. All right, Isaac Harris. We've been talking about Jaden Hardy. The Hardy party is in full swing. It was a great day. He showed off all the stuff. You think he plays another game?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he does too. I think there's a chance that they shut him down because he, that's the hope for Summer League is that, yeah, you want to see him and have fun and see him play, but the hope is that your guy is too good for Summer League, right? They go out there and play one game and then they're kind of done. Cade Cunningham's probably going to do that when the Pistons, like if he ever suits up with the Pistons. But who else stood out to you in Summer League? Because I think AJ Lawson deserves a definite shout out. 28 points, tied for the team high, 5 boards. He hit 6 threes in this game. It just seems like he was everywhere. Thought his cuts were good. He found open space for those threes. He took 11 threes. Hardy took 7, and Miaoni took 5. Like nobody else took more than 3 or 4, and he got up 11. So he was just finding the right spot. I was a little surprised he got a start, but I think he might be in there for another two-way spot. Like that's probably what he's fighting for with the Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument that, we're all excited about Jaden Hardy, but you can make the argument that AJ Lawson had the better game, just start to finish overall game, like you said, hitting 6 threes. He had some big buckets late. That drive and dunk late was a great decision by him. They were down by 2, and just to take it straight to the rim, it kind of caught the Bulls off guard, I think, and threw it down. Got, the Jason Kidd's son and some of them, Christian Wood and them standing up hyped over there. Side note, Christian Wood tweeting about Jaden Hardy during the game was awesome.
Adding the Mavericks, like at Dallas Mavericks. Thank you for drafting Jaden Hardy. That was an incredible tweet.
But no, I thought Lawson looked great. I had prepped for yesterday's pod, by the way. So I had, I liked Lawson, played at South Carolina for a couple years. Y'all want to know the story while we're laughing real quick? So
okay, go ahead.
Let me tell it real quick.
Throw me under the bus.
So we were supposed to record, last night about the Summer League roster. I'd prepped, I went through the whole roster, had some thoughts, some guys I wanted to, talk about. And we don't technically always set an exact time of when we're going to record. It's normally we're always texting throughout every day, basically.
At some point around like 10:30 at night, Isaac will be like, "Hey, when are we going to record? Because like I have kids and I need to," and I'm like, "I don't have any kids, so I'm just here staying up late. Doesn't matter to me."
I shoot Nick a text, I'm like, "Hey, when you want to record?" And I'm just sitting on the couch watching Magic Rockets. Nothing for a while. And I'm like, dang, he really fell asleep. COVID after effects really getting him, and just nothing. Old man here, me, I just fall asleep on the couch, just straight up, just fall asleep watching the game.
Straight up Mike Wheeler's dad from Stranger Things, like falling asleep on the couch.
I wake up at like, I don't know, midnight, past midnight, whatever it was. I wake up, I look at my phone. He's like, "Oh, sorry, went to see Thor. Should have told you that." Okay. So, anyway, I sent you some text I don't even remember sending. It was like misspelled or like different words.
It's like auto-corrected words that you just like, I couldn't even put them together. Like, how did you get that word out of what you tried to text me?
And so Nick did a solo pod.
I felt so bad. I was like, "Dude, I got this." I was like, "Don't worry. Like, go to bed. Like, I'll do this pod." I totally forgot to tell you. I thought the movie was starting earlier than it did. I thought I'd be back by like 11. I was not.
But anyway, AJ Lawson, he played at South Carolina, had a good stretch in South Carolina, played in the G League a little bit, and he had a short stint with the Hawks. But no, I mean, for me, I was going into the Summer League. I was wanting to look at Oni. I was wanting to look at Gorham, from Houston. Is incredible rebounder in college. Watching him, I think he's a little too slow probably for the NBA. But
Moses Wright was first team All G League last year. And I was looking through, I was like, oh, who else has been first team all G League, like especially as a rookie? And our boy Jameel Warney was first team all G League at one point. And I was like, Gorham, he's going to be awesome in the G League. Like he's going to be awesome in the G League. I don't know if there's a role for him in the
He is kind of like Warney. That's a good one. But anyway, those two I was really intrigued by. AJ Lawson, man, but he killed it tonight. And that's I mean, when you look at the other two-way spot, I know you talked about Tyler Dorsey yesterday, but you look at the other two-way spot, it's wide open right now. I mean, you can make the argument of him versus Moses Wright right now.
And that Tyler Dorsey spot is not official yet, right? That's just been rumored, and Stein kind of reported the Mavericks are talking to him about it. It's official he's not going back to Olympiacos, I think, but it's not official that he's two-way, like for the Mavs yet. So could be a camp invite, and then all those guys fight for it, and that'd be cool to see.
Fight for it, like pull sticks.
So yeah, AJ Lawson stood out. We talked about Jaden Hardy a ton already. We'll talk about him a bunch going forward. Piola, I thought was, like you said, interesting. He had 8 assists. He's that guard from Italy that played for Bologna since like 2015. He's been playing for that team. I felt like Greg St. Jean really liked him too. He threw him in. He didn't start. Jarek Harding started, who's like that guard that had the most points at Weber State ever, the college that Damian Lillard went to.
He can get buckets too. He's just tiny.
He's listed at 6'1". There's no shot. Like he's a JJ Berea 6'1" to me. But he started, but you could tell early on that when Piola was in there, that the offense was being run well, that everything kind of slowed down. The Mavericks actually got their lead and started to build on their lead when he was in there, and then he immediately just eclipsed Harding in minutes. And so he's an interesting guy. I'm not sure what they think about him, but it was interesting that he had the third most minutes. Yeah, third most minutes on the team. But it's behind Hardy, Lawson, and then him. Because
you were really excited about Bingham, right?
I was interested in Bingham, especially because he was the only guy taller than 6'9" on the team. Like he was the only real center on the team.
We got Wardenberg. He's like a 7-footer, I think.
I thought he was. Well, he didn't even play. I thought he was going to start for sure, but they just decided to start Moses Wright at center and just play him at center. And I don't. You can't play a guy like that at center in the NBA. I don't think.
I mean, the Mavericks are like, hey, since we're going to go double twin towers here in the NBA or in the regular season, let's just go super small in the summer league.
I guess, but yeah, I was interested in Bingham. He got a couple of threes up. He had a couple of pretty good blocks, but my guy had 8 fouls.
He did have 8 fouls. Holy crap. Moses Wright had some good blocks and stuff too, but overall, there's no glaring huge takeaway from summer league stuff.
No.
Outside of like Hardy looked like he belonged, and it was really encouraging. What you want to see for me, it was Hardy's decision making. It wasn't even like some of the tough shots. It's like you watch tape and stuff of Hardy, and you're like, all right, you can get those shots. Like you're going to get those shots. It was his decision making and already looking like disciplined out there that I was pleasantly surprised about.
And just like that, he looked like he was the best player on the court until Simonovic got like within a foot of the basket, right? Like, he looked like the best player on the court when a guy like Carlik Jones was out there. Dalen Terry was out there.
Dalen Terry is what, 18th overall pick?
I know.
And Hardy looked at him like, dude, you have no chance against me right now.
No, not at all. Which it's just positive to see. So great to see Jaden Hardy step up. The Mavs did lose. They got to overtime, which who knew that overtime. There was some mistakes were made in their lead that was given up.
That shot, the potential game winner from Hardy. I was like, Mavs Twitter's not ready for this. It would have put him over 30 points to win the game at the buzzer. I think Christian Wood and Bullock and those guys would have just came on the floor and like carried him off. And
they would have stormed the court.
Mavs Twitter would have been equivalent to like Pat Beverly in the play-in if Hardy hit that shot.
Do we want to talk about all the Mavericks that were like all the people from the Mavs organization that were at this game?
Yeah, it's like every team has people there. You know, all the head coaches, all the GMs are there. A lot of former players there. Like on one side, like they talked to DeRozan, but then like Kobe White, Pat Williams, and there was a crew of Bulls in the corner. Kind of. Yeah. It does feel like the Mavs have a few more players than normal.
In attendance that I caught: Mark Cuban, Nico Harrison, Jason Kidd, Michael Finley, the brain trust, like the leadership of the Mavericks. Yeah. Christian Wood was there, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleba, Josh Green, Theo Pinson. Did I miss anybody? Any players? That's
Jay Lim. Jalen was there.
No, Mavs players.
With the Mavs. Oh, okay, players. Sean Marion.
Jerry West was there, and I want Theo Pinson to have walked over and be like, "Hey, we're trying to defend you over on our court." Rudy Gobert is going.
You doing good? I know Rudy hit you. Are you good?
Rudy's going after you with that hook shot, but
Sean Marion. I don't think I've seen anybody else.
But like half the Mavericks roster was there. It was just cool to see that. We mentioned Christian Wood tweeting about Jaden Hardy in the middle of the game. That was awesome. It was cool to see those guys just respond to things that were happening. And
the Christian Wood interview, I thought that was really cool to just see some. I mean, a lot of it was cliche stuff. He's excited for the opportunity. He wants to win. Okay.
Take a drink every time Christian Wood said he wants to win in that.
Well, I would too if I've never won in my life. So, sorry. So the one thing,
almost as good as your DeLon Wright quip from the other day.
So the one thing that I did really, really enjoy that he said was how much he lit up talking about playing with Luka. And he was like, man, if there's one guy in the pick and roll in the league that, I'm looking for, I want to play with, it's Luka. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool to see.
Yeah. So Roz Gold on Woodday was doing the interview. It's just like they just bring him to the side, like on the side of the court. And they're like, hey, let's just ask you about this team and all this. She said, how can you help Luka? And she's like, how can you support Luka and help Luka? And Christian Wood was like, if there's one player in the NBA that I would pick to like do a pick and roll with, like he's the best one. He just got really excited, and I'm really excited to see how that works out. And I'm glad that he sees it that way, right? You're glad that he sees it as a, almost like, I don't know if Porzingis saw it that way. Like when you asked Porzingis about it, it was we're gonna be able to help each other, and blah blah blah, and it was all about like, okay, yeah, he's young and he'll figure it out, and like. No, that's not the case, man. Like, you're number 2. You're the one that's going to be able to feed off of all the things that he does. And Christian Wood's like, I'm ready to feed off of what this guy's going to do. And so that's pretty awesome.
It was some cool of him to say defense, too, that Jason Kidd brought up. That now this is 2 players just this offseason. Jaden Hardy in his first media session after getting drafted. Now Christian Wood, too. Like, dude, first thing, Jason Kidd's on my defense with me. That it doesn't seem like it's just lip service to media that like, we're really trying to get better defensively here. No, it's like legit the number one thing.
We're going to play a little defense. Nico Harrison on the broadcast. Ooh. Are you ready for this quote?
I'm ready for I love Nico's personality. It's so much different than Donnie's in the sense of like Donnie's like, hey, yeah, welcome, doing this whole like Texas, let's just talk
howdy.
Yeah, and like let's just talk about anything and everything, and I'll talk forever. Nico's like, he's so trained in it. He's like, dude, I'm gonna give you like 5 words, and it's gonna be kind of awkward, but I'm not gonna say much, but I'm gonna say something.
Nico Harrison dropped this that I just knew, like, Mavs fans are not gonna go for this. He was asked about Tim Hardaway Jr., and he's like, for us, he's kind of like a free agent that we brought in. And I was like, no, we can't be like, you can't be doing that and say, well, we're bringing in Tim Hardaway and we're bringing in Christian. We're like, no, Tim was already on the team, right? Like, I don't think that works. That's not selling. Like,
he's trying to make
I know you're just not selling us with the, okay, everybody's upset that Jalen Brunson is gone. You're like, well, we're bringing back Tim. It's like, okay.
To his defense, he was asked about Tim. It was specifically like if he answered
I get talking about Tim, but saying, for us, it's kind of like we're bringing in a free agent at this point. Like I remember them signing him last year. I don't know about this year.
It's kind of like, I feel like GMs say this or coaches say this a lot after the trade deadline when a player's coming back from an injury and they're like, basically our big trade deadline move is getting blank back from injury. And it's like,
we're all focused on Cincinnati.
But his, obviously his point he's trying to make is we didn't have Tim for the basically second half of the season and the whole playoff run that we went to conference finals. Now we're getting this guy back. And I mean, he just said it with the most icing and
honestly, in the worst way he could have said it because of how insane insane Mavs fans go around free agency or just the word free agents or signing or anything. Like Mavs fans collectively lose their mind on that. And for him to put it that way, I was like, oh God. Yes. That's going to come back to bite him, I think. And then Jason Kidd spoke before to Malika Andrews and Richard Jefferson and that whole crew on the desk. And he talked about how, hey, we believe we're going to be a bigger team this year. They are. It's pretty much all 6'5" and above, like 6'5" to 7 foot for this team. There's nobody under 6'5" unless you count Jaden Hardy. And he also said Spencer's going to start and JaVale's going to start. We've been waiting to hear, okay, is this JaVale McGee starting thing real? Because Chris Haynes reported it when the signing happened, and now it seems to be a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, once Chris Haynes and, even McMahon, I think McMahon said it too, that, about JaVale starting, I was like, all right, well, I didn't think there's any doubt that Dinwiddie was going to start just because I think they need another ball handler out there. So you do your math. Well, then at this point, assuming obviously Christian Wood is starting, then it's either Dorian or Reggie. And my thing that I disagreed with, I think it was Nico or Jason. One of them said, it was like talking about this like kind of new lineup. Hey, we got bigger. Even Jason, kidded about it. He's like, no disrespect to Jason's height, Jalen's height and everything. But one of them said, hey, I think we have more offense off the bench now.
He said that in that answer when he said, we're going to start Dinwiddie, we'll start JaVale, and we'll have more offense coming off the bench. And I was like, I don't know if that works that way.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that. Just because you're swapping, you're moving Reggie to the bench. And I guess your main reason for that is that you're bringing Tim back. But it's like
and Hardy, I guess, too.
But like Tim equals out what you had in Dinwiddie basically off the bench last year. So I just, we're all assuming that they're not done yet. So, let's see how the rest of the stuff plays out with Kevin Durant and all of that. If they plan on adding another guy who can get some buckets, then I get it then. But I don't know if I fully agree that they have more offense coming off the bench.
Well, and just remember what the starting lineup was last year, right? It was Dwight and Porzingis and Tim and Dorian and Luka. That was the starting lineup to start the year last year. And how many times it changed. Yes, COVID had played a lot to do with how many starting lineups they had, but they did change the starting lineup a lot. And they made the Porzingis trade, and then Dinwiddie wasn't starting, and then Jalen Brunson forced his way in the starting lineup, and Tim goes down, and starting lineups change all the time. So I'm not getting too wrapped up in Dinwiddie starting, the Bang Bros
it's about
starting.
Who finishes.
It's about who closes. We know the two wings and Dorian and Bullock are going to close. It's either going to be Dinwiddie or Tim that finishes, depending on if Tim's super hot and they need shooting and spacing, and Luka can handle his way, then then close with him.
And I think it was Christian Wood in his interview referenced to 5-out system stuff and him fitting into that. And if he's talking about that, then that's where I think you threw it out on the pod about McGee starting, that it could just be the spot start stuff of what they were doing with Dwight. They could look at it and say, hey, we were starting Dwight and playing him, 15, 18 minutes a game. Hey, yeah, we're going to tell them that, but we're going to start McGee, but he's going to be coming out 5 minutes into the game, and Reggie's going to come in, and now we're, Christian Wood's at the center spot. So we're still going to see a lot of 5-out stuff with Christian Wood at the 5 and Dorian at the 4. It just, they're going to sugarcoat a little bit at the beginning, probably.
Or even with Wood and Maxey, right? The Mavs have options. This team, everybody's 6'5" to 6'10", basically. There's a lot of options there, and guys that can be moved around and stuff. So we'll talk about that a lot more as the season goes on, but that's Summer League. That's a couple of the comments from Jason Kidd and stuff. Let us know in the comment section below. What do you think about Jaden Hardy? What do you expect from him going forward? Guys, we'll be back on Monday with another one. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom!